When people think of a hot hatch, they think of the Volkswagen GTI. The Volkswagen GTI debuted in the United States in 1983 on the Volkswagen Rabbit platform. The original Golf GTI was not made for the States and was later introduced to the Golf platform for the US market in 1985. In this episode, we are going to cover fitment options for the Mark 5, 6, 7, and 8 GTI. I'm Rich from Koenig. Welcome to Fit Check. GTI stands for Grand Touring Injection, and it's the performance model of the Golf. Since 1983, there has been 8 generations of the GTI and counting. These cars are beloved amongst enthusiasts for their sportiness and practicality while still coming in at an affordable price point. The GTI has an absolute plethora of aftermarket support, and super easy to use flash tuning software is readily available. Wheel fitment for the GTI has remained pretty much the same for quite some time now. The GTI is very consistent with the last 4 generations, sharing the same hub size and bolt pattern of 57.1 millimeters and 5x112 respectively. OE wheel sizings have varied slightly but not much. Mark 5s come in a 17x7.5 ET51. Mark 6s come with the same 17x7.5 ET51, but an 18x7.5 ET51 wrapped in a 225/40/18 tire was offered as well, and is the same OE spec offered on all future generations, Mark 7s and Mark 8s. The Mark 8 features a new spec in addition to the 18-inch option, a new 19x8 ET50 spec, which is the same size offered on the Golf R. All of these cars can take a diameter range of 17-inch to 19-inch. Some people will even go to a 20-inch option, but make sure you maintain your overall roll in diameter. If you've watched an episode of Fit Check before, you know that we go over 3 fitment categories, which are no hassle, slight flex, and all the wheel. Starting with our no hassle category, this is for people who want to use their factory tires and is typically a more conservative fitment option. Our no hassle fitment range will have a wheel width of 7.5 inch wide to an 8 inch wide with an offset range of ET40 to 45. The lower offset and slightly increased width will fill out the wheel wells just a little bit more without looking aggressive. This is for people who want the benefits of aftermarket wheels but don't want to bring any additional attention to their car. If we had to choose, our pick for no hassle would be a size of an 8 inch wide wheel at an ET45 offset. Our next category is our slight flex category, which is typically looking for a sweet spot of fitment and entails changing both your OE wheels and tires. However, for the GTI, most people end up using their OE tire spec of 225/40/18 for a majority of aftermarket wheel options. The fitment for slight flex would be an 8.5 inch wide wheel with an offset range of ET42 to ET45, and will surely give you that more aggressive look without compromising functionality. Our pick for slight flex would be an 8.5 inch wide wheel with an offset of a 42/43 offset. That brings us to our last category, all the wheel, which is the most aggressive setup you can run before running into fitment issues like rubbing or needing to roll fenders. The range for all the wheel would be a 9 inch wide wheel with an offset range of an ET42 to an ET45. These cars walk a fine line between having an aggressive fitment and having too much wheel. If we had to choose one size for this category, we would recommend a 9 inch wide wheel with an offset of an ET42. And that is really all the wheel that you could fit on these generation GTIs without having to worry about rubbing or fitment issues. Like we always do, we'd like to throw in a bonus category of you're on your own. We know that there are many people that will run wheels outside of these fitment ranges, and it is more of a disclaimer than it is a fitment category. When you run a wheel wider than a 9 inch or you run offsets lower than an ET40, you are more likely to run into fitment issues where you may need to adjust your camber settings or go with a stretched tire to avoid extreme rubbing. And that's about it. As a previous owner of a Mark 5 GTI and a current owner of a Mark 7 GTI, these cars are pretty easy to fit, and I hope this helped you out. Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of Fit Check. Let us know what car you guys would like us to cover in a future episode. Please follow us on social media and subscribe to our YouTube channel. I'm Rich from Koenig. See you on the next one.